and being kicked out of your club at 5 a.m. How I can relate to that. This is Eurovision 365. I am Podrick, and you are very welcome to the channel, where I am continuing to look at the top 10 or so countries to win Eurovision 2024 and answering the question, can they? This top 10 has been compiled by EurovisionWorld.com, and as always, with betting odds, they fluctuate. But at the time of recording, this country, this song, is in that top 10. So who could it be? Well, it's on the thumbnail, but roll with this. So up next it is Belgium, La Belgique. Belgium has been at the Eurovision Song Contest since its inception back in 1956. Despite that, however, they have only managed just one solo victory in 1986 with J'aime la vie by the still popular Sandra Kim. At just 13 years of age, she remains and probably will always be the youngest performer to win the competition, the Junior Eurovision being a very separate entity, of course. Belgium's journey at the Eurovision is somewhat of a roller coaster. Belgium are not necessarily defined by any particular musical genre or style, and as an audience, we really never know what Belgium is going to serve up from one year to the next. I think this is the glory of the nation and why I always look forward to seeing and hearing what they bring. I have regard for so many of their entries, but in particular their entries from 1968, 1976, 1981, 1982, 1992, 2004, and many, many more. The responsibility of managing the act that goes to Eurovision is a shared responsibility between a French and a Dutch language broadcaster. This helps to expand the linguistic and cultural diversity that we see when it comes to Belgium's Eurovision performances. Indeed, it's not just French, Dutch, and English that Belgium bring. In 2003, Urban Trad brought an imaginative entry in the fictional language and scored the nation a second place. Their best result since Sandra's win in 1986. As of recording, this silver medal still hasn't been equalled. Belgium tried this novelty again in 2008, but were less successful, proving that perhaps the imaginary language card could only be played once. The nation is also on a hot streak, having qualified every year since 2021. Last year, Belgium held a national final, their first since 2016, in January 2023. And despite stiff competition in the form of favourites Gala Dragot and Shireen, it was Gustaf who scooped the ticket to represent the nation in the United Kingdom. No one looked more surprised than the man himself, and off he went to Liverpool with the LGBT empowerment anthem, Because of You, despite some reservations from fans and non-fans alike. The tune proved to be the spring earworm that we didn't know we needed and was somewhat of a sleeper hit. Gustaf proved very popular on the pre-party circuit, and when the opening lines of "And When the World Got Me Going Crazy," yeah, were offered out by Gustaf, we as fans knew exactly how to respond. On arrival in Liverpool, it was thought that Gustaf would qualify, but was uncertain exactly just how well he would do. Yet, in his arguably easier semi final, Gustaf only managed 8th place, which would have been lower than most fans would have predicted. If this was a precursor to the final, things weren't looking so positive. Interestingly, in the final, for such a fan favourite, it was the jury who swooped in as saviour to Gustaf, awarding him 127 points to the public's 55, with some 12s from Greece, Georgia, and Australia thrown in to help things along. This year, Belgium have returned to internal selection and were the first country to announce their artist in the form of Muusti. Muusti, like Gustaf, is a high-profile LGBT performer who is currently a judge on the Belgian edition of Drag Race. Muusti's track has rapidly installed itself as a fan favourite and is a departure from last year's upbeat Pride anthem. From its sci-fi Stranger Things opening to its anthemic chorus conclusion, this feels different and truly stand out from everything else in the competition. Both of Muusti's albums have charted in the top 5 in Belgium, which suggests that, like the UK, Belgium have selected someone that hasn't just got experience, but commercial success in the nation. The song itself is a powerful meditation on how we are all moving through life, playing the game, but often hidden just below the surface can be a great deal of pain and unhealed trauma. This is skillfully woven together, and unlike other entries this year, is not trying to blend multiple styles, and the narrative is fairly straightforward. This is, in effect, a male ballad through and through. The song title at the end is also repeated multiple times before the song comes to an end, which helps to drive home the overall message and reinforces the strong overarching message of the song. The production values of the music video show Muusti's visual flair when it comes to producing interesting and striking imagery that lingers long after the song is over. Muusti appears brimming with creative ingenuity, and I would imagine for him it would be relatively easy to translate these ideas to the Eurovision stage. So, how would this do with the juries? Well, I can see the juries loving this. An expertly staged male power vocalist will be ticking so many boxes come voting time that I can see Muusti outperforming aforementioned jury favourite Gustaf. Moving on to Televote then. I can see Televoters liking this, but not as much, maybe. Muusti's song isn't exactly a toe-tapping feel-good Euroclub anthem. It's more of an angsty, frustrated protestation at the world, something to cry along to perhaps when being kicked out of Euroclub at 5 a.m. How I can relate to that when the party is literally over, perhaps. For that reason, it may be something that is overlooked. Well, how will it do generally? Well, there are a number of our popular LGBT performers like Nemo, Bambi Thug, and Ollie Alexander that could eat into the vote share if people feel these artists are bringing something that resonates more with the types of music they enjoy. This is a strong year, and other strong male contenders like near neighbours Netherlands, Joost Stein, and Croatia's Baby Lasagna could steal vote share as the audience picks something quirkier and seeks to avenge last year's Prince of the People, Karia. So, with all that said and done, it's now time for Podrick's prediction. Can Belgium win Eurovision 2024? Gonna say no. It's a no to maybe actually, but more on the no side. Let me just point out this channel loves Muusti, and he is a fantastic performer who we've seen in person perform. We've interviewed him, and also we've seen him in person performing at Barcelona and Amsterdam, and does own the stage. I think if Muusti is able to bring all of his creative energy and the live vocal matches the ambition, I am certain that this could see Belgium in the top 3 again. Belgium, it seems, have been knocking on the door of victory for some time, and surely a trip to Brussels for a Eurovision Song Contest can't be too many years away if they keep going on this trajectory of delivering something unique and memorable. That's what I think, but I'd love to know what you think. Over to you now. What do you think? Do you think, in fact, that the party will never be over should Belgium win this year? Do you think they can? Do you think Belgium can? Do you think Muusti has what it takes? Or do you think that no, maybe not the case this time around? Whatever you think is totally okay with me, but I need to know. So you let me know in the comments below what those thoughts are. I look forward, as always, to reading those. Thanks so much for joining me this time around, and I'll be back with another country in the top 10 and answering the question, can they win? But until then, thanks so much for joining me, and take care. Bye bye.